Hello. I hope you can all hear me. Thank you so much for joining today. Having some technical issues here at the beginning, but I hope that all of you are here today. Thank you. Today I'm going to be talking about frequently asked questions. All of your frequently asked questions that I get so often on in the comment section here on my channel. As most of you know, if you are a regular watcher of my channel, I do videos about Ghana most of the time and share different tips, show you different places, give you some information, and help you with your navigation on travel in Ghana, as well as information about moving to Ghana. Now, I get a lot of questions that are quite common and quite frequent. So today I wanted to go through some of those frequently asked questions. I want to thank everyone who's joined today. And if you do have any questions that are not the questions that I go through, please do put it in the comment section. I'll do my best to answer, to let you know that I can answer your question. If I can't, I'll do my best to find the information for you. If I'm not able to get it during this live stream, I'll be sure to find it and then respond to you in the comment section at a later date. So I hope that everybody can hear me clearly. I'm using a microphone today, so I want to make sure that you can all hear me. If you can't hear me, please do put it in the comment section so that I can make adjustments as needed. So once again, welcome. Today is frequently asked questions. So I'll start off with the first question that I normally get, that I often get from people. And it may seem to be something that's quite basic for someone who's used to traveling, if you're used to going places. One of the common questions I often get is, how can I come to Ghana? Now, for somebody who's a traveler, seems like a basic question because the number one thing is you get a passport. If you don't have a passport, you need to make sure you get your passport. Depending on the country you're coming from, you may need a travel visa to come to Ghana as a tourist visa. Some countries have agreements with Ghana and you don't need a visa to come. So if you're from one of the West African countries like Togo, Benin, Ivory Coast, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Senegal, like those West African countries do not need a visa to come to Ghana. Also countries like Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago, they don't need a visa to come to Ghana. But most countries that don't have these types of reciprocal agreements, you do need a visa. Like if you're coming from the US, you should be contacting the Ghana embassy or the Ghana mission in your country. If you're coming from Canada, the same thing. So many different countries where you need to get a visa to come to Ghana. Once you get your visa, you check with the health authorities to see what vaccinations you may need to come to Ghana. Yellow fever is mandatory. I do know that people have been able to get around that if they have certain medical conditions. You would have to have evidence and proof of that in order to get around not getting a yellow fever shot. But it is considered to be a mandatory thing. You get a yellow card and you come to Ghana with that. Thank you so much for joining today, Kojo. Prosper. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much. I'm going through frequently asked questions today, so I hope that I'm able to answer any questions you may have. If not, please put your questions in the comments and I'll do my best to answer. So that was the first question. How do I come to Ghana? So I'm going to move on to the next question. The next question I often get comes from women. Is it safe to be in Ghana as a single female? Now, this is something that is of a concern to a lot of people because we often hear about a lot of the negative stories coming out of West Africa, not West Africa, but Africa in general. There's a lot of times there's negativity about safety. There's concern all the time. Now, what I can say is that Ghana is one of the safest countries in the continent of Africa. It is in the top 6 safest countries, the last I read in reports. And so what I tell people is you have to use your common sense and exercise the same type of precautions you would be exercising in your home country. So if you are a single female in your home country, you probably wouldn't walk around by yourself at 3 o'clock in the morning and just walk around doing nothing in the streets. I would say exercise the same precautions when you come to Ghana or any other country, especially when you're not familiar with the environment and you don't know your way around. It's not the best idea to be doing things at odd times of the night by yourself. But generally speaking, Ghana is a safe country. People have been known to walk around late at night by themselves and not be worried about things happening. But I will say this, that in Ghana right now, with the increase of unemployment, there has been an increase in theft. So theft is a concern. There have been people who have reported things like getting their phones stolen, getting purses stolen. So it's important that you exercise precautions when you are by yourself and you are out at night. So even in the daytime, there have been things happening in the daytime. So I would recommend just exercising precautions. But overall, Ghana is a pretty safe country. I know that there are some countries where there have been issues with women, women and their safety. Particularly, I've heard news about South Africa having issues with safety with women. Ghana is not quite the same. One thing I will say too is, as a single woman, don't mind me, I'm like sweating. It's so hot. It's so hot here. As a single woman, if you are living alone, it's a good idea to find places that have security, because there have been issues with break-ins, that type of thing happening. So it's important that you look for security wherever you're moving. So if you're looking to rent a place and you're a single woman, look to see if there's security guards, because a lot of times people from the diaspora who move to Ghana usually rent in places that have security. You have the gated communities, or they have extra what they call burglar proof on the doors and on the windows to protect yourself and to protect your belongings. So look out for those kinds of things. Ask questions if there's a security guard working at the place that you're planning to rent, so that you know that you have that sense of security when you are renting a place by yourself. Also, getting friendly with your neighbors, having a sense of community. So that can also be something that helps you as well as a single female. Let me go to the comments here and see who has joined. Audrey, thank you for joining. It's been a while since I have done a live stream, so thank you for joining this evening or afternoon or nighttime or morning, wherever you are in the world. James, thank you. Nice background. I enjoy your channel a lot. Thank you so much, James. I appreciate it. Some of us are single and the single ladies are welcome, but I'm in Europe. Any single lady coming should contact me. Oh my gosh. You're shooting your shot. All right. I'm not going to be mad at you. And next comment is from AD Ratney. I enjoy your channel. Are you interested in partnering or collaborating with an African American diaspora and other African to showcase Ghana and other African countries? If you are talking about business collaborations or partnerships, that needs to be submitted to me by email. My email is info@ivyprosper.com. I get a lot of requests, so I filter things out based on email. So it's important that you send me an email to submit your request formally as to exactly what you're asking for. All right. I should, let me see, put my email on the screen so that you're able to, excuse me, see what I just said for my email address. So info@ivyprosper.com is my email address. So there it is. So if you need to submit a proposal formally, it needs to be done by email. All right, thank you. So let me go back to the comments. Cosmic Coral, hi, how are you? Hope all is well. What are your thoughts about PLO Lumumba or Dr. Erikana? I want to focus on the FAQs right now, so I'll try to get back to that later on, but thank you for that question. I'll come back. I'll do my best to come back to it after I answer the frequently asked questions related to moving to Ghana, investing in Ghana, navigating Ghana. Prosper says, thank you, Ivy, for great education. We appreciate your good works. Keep on burning the desire. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to get to the next question that I'm often asked about Ghana, which is, can I get citizenship in Ghana? Yes, you can get citizenship in Ghana. However, there is a process. It is not something that you just land and you get it, because we have had situations where people will come and say that they're here on holidays and they want to get citizenship. But it's not that simple. There is a process to it. You have to apply. You have to actually live in the country first, and then make your application. So going through that process, it does take some time. Every case is different. So like if you marry a Ghanaian, the case is going to be different than you've come here to invest in business. It's going to be a different situation. So it's important that you inquire directly with the Ministry of Interior, and also have communication with Ghana Immigration in order to determine what your situation is. But 100%, it is not something that can be done remotely. Because there's a lot of people, I get a lot of people from the African American community, particularly, who contact me saying they want to start the process, but they're not here. You cannot apply for citizenship in Ghana if you are not in the country. It is not something that is done remotely. So that's very important that you're aware that you have to be here. You have to have made the commitment already to be living here, and then you make the application process. So for example, I know somebody who came to Ghana last year. He moved to Ghana. He's been here over a year now, and he's made the decision he wants to see what he can do to apply for citizenship. So now he's making his application because he's proven he's lived here, and he's not just coming and wanting to grab it and leave. So there is a process. So it's very important that you know that. That being said, there is a Homeland Return Act that they've been talking about in the government that's being worked on with respect to helping people from the diaspora community get citizenship faster than the process is now, and easier than the process is now. It hasn't passed yet. They've still been working on it. So once it does pass, of course, an announcement will be made, and then it will be much, much easier at that point. So I hope that answers your question. Let me go to the comments. Hi, Vixa. Thank you for joining. Good to see you. Musto King H, good to see you. The easiest way is to marry a beautiful chocolate queen like Ivy. All right, let me move along. But yeah, it is the easiest way to get citizenship, they say, is through marrying somebody. I think that's the case for almost any country. A lot of people, you can get your citizenship faster when you marry somebody from the country. What is my favorite Ghanaian dish? One of my favorites is red, which is the fried plantain with the red bean sauce. That's one of my favorites. I also like tozafi with the green soup, which comes from the northern region of Ghana. So I will move on to the next question in my frequently asked questions. If you're just joining today, I am doing a live stream about frequently asked questions that I get asked on a regular basis about Ghana. So the next question that I get asked a lot is, can I still get land in the Cebu land project? Now, I did a video several months ago. I did 2 different videos last year, actually, in 2020. One video was interviewing a gentleman named Kwame Nitoto, who is one of the people in charge of the whole project. He's one of the people working in the team for the project. Cebu is in the central region of Ghana. It's about 20 to 25 minutes from Cape Coast. And it is a place where the chief has allocated several acres of land that will be divided for people from the diaspora community. And there's also a portion that's allocated for Ghanaians. So this particular community is called the Cebu Pan-African Village, I believe. And they are dividing the land. The land itself, what they've said is the land itself is no charge, but they are charging for the surveying of the land, which is $700. So yes, there is still land available. Yes, that project is still happening. The information I pinned to the top of the comments about that project in the video. A lot of people send me messages asking for information, but I'm always mentioning that the information is in the comment section of that particular video. So it's important that you contact them directly and to get the information. So I'll put it in the comments here, the information for you to be able to contact them if you still need to reach them. Because I know a lot of people have been saying that they want to get information. And then some people never knew about it and they stumbled upon my video, especially over the last couple of months. People have been saying that they found my video and now they want information. But as I always mention, the information is pinned to the top of the comments in that video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find that information. I should have had it ready before. I just realized that I'll get it for you and I'll put it in the comments so that you can have access to that information if you don't have it already. So yes, that land is still available. There's a lot of opportunities for land in Ghana, but I always say you have to tread lightly and with a lot of precaution because land is one of the most complicated things in Ghana. It is one of the most complicated things even for local Ghanaians when they're trying to get land. So sometimes people come from the diaspora and they think that they're being the only ones being swindled or they're only ones who have a lot of confusion when it comes to getting land. But people who are from this country also have challenges when it comes to getting land. So it's important that you do things like checking with the Lands Commission to get information on if land is actually for sale, because there have been problems with people who are con artists that may take advantage, and you don't know that the land has been sold to somebody already, and then they're trying to sell you land that's already been sold to someone. So it's very, very important that you pay attention to that. So I've put the website in the comments for the Cebu land if you want to get in touch with them to get more information about that particular project. So their website is there. You can contact them. Kwame, his email, a lot of people have said that they've sent him emails and sometimes he's not getting back to people. He is quite delayed in responding to people. One of the things that I tell people when you come to Ghana, a lot of Ghanaians and even people who move here and start to adopt the Ghanaian lifestyle are not always very fast at responding to emails. They are faster at responding to messages on Facebook, messages on Instagram, messages on Twitter than they are with email. And it just seems to be a common thing here that some of us who are used to people responding to emails, you start to realize that email is not always the best way to reach people here. WhatsApp is actually a very common way of reaching people. So keep that in mind when you reach out, that sometimes they are slow, people are slow to respond in general. It's not just them. I actually saw Kwame a few days ago, last week, at the Jubilee House. The president was doing some inaugurating of people to a steering committee, and I asked him specifically, I said that, you know, people have been trying to reach out to him regarding the land, and I wanted to make sure he was still on the project. And he said, yes, he's still on the project, it's going. There's people who are actually starting to build their properties on that particular land as well. So it is still going. One of the things about Ghana that you realize when you do come here, if you come for a visit or if you decide to come and move, is that it's so much easier getting things done in person than trying to do things remotely. And it's a cultural thing. So for instance, you may be used to, you can get things done over the phone, but then you come to Ghana and people don't want to do it on the phone all the time. You'll be like, this meeting could have happened on the phone, but they insist they want to have a meeting in person. So you're spending your time to go meet in person, you sit down, you spend a few hours before you get anything done. But that could have all been done in a 15-minute conversation. So you'll find culturally people want that personal connection. So even with that land, I feel like people will have more success if they were actually here in person as far as the speed of it going. But if you don't feel comfortable with it, then don't do it. Don't get it. That's what I say. If you have any apprehension, don't go for it. You know, find something else. So it's not for everyone. It's not for everyone because it's also undeveloped land. It is raw land. You would have to do everything from scratch. So don't go there expecting that everything's going to be done for you. Everything's going to be laid out for you. It is raw from scratch. So understand that before you make the decision to go ahead. There's also an organization called Assarsi. They are doing really great with getting land for people in the diaspora. Um, he is a Ghanaian from the UK, and he's been doing really great with vetting the land, getting everything done, and he's even naming the streets after historical Black figures, which is amazing because he's paying tribute to important people in Black history around the world, not just Ghanaian, but African American, British, Black people from all over the world, other parts of Africa, who have made an impact, and it's awesome. It's awesome what he's doing. So I'll also put his information for that site. Let me see if I can find it, and I'll put it in the comments so that you can also get an opportunity to look for an opportunity with getting land with him. So there are opportunities for land. You just have to look for them, and it's easier to do when you're actually here on the ground. So I hope that answers that question. James for African asked, do you have plenty of land available for sale that you know of? There's a lot of land available in different areas. It's easier to get a lot of that information when you're actually here. But as I mentioned, there's the Assarsi land, which they have land in Prom and other parts. I think Dodowa. So let me just put the website in the comments here for you so that you can go ahead and look it up for yourself. So I've just put it in the comments there. So I hope that is helpful. Go to the next comment. Looking forward to seeing you in the motherland. I hope that you have a safe trip whenever it is you decide to come. Sheila, hello, how are you? Thank you for joining the live stream. Today I'm talking about frequently asked questions. How is Ghana's relationship with surrounding countries? Recently, there has been militants in Burkina Faso that have killed people. Is there any spillover of people fleeing to Ghana? I have not heard anything about spillover of people coming into Ghana. Ever since the COVID-19 pandemic, the government has been pretty strict with borders, with land crossing. That's not to say that there haven't been people who found ways to sneak through illegally, but they have been really strict with the way that people come through by land, because the land borders are supposed to still be closed, and it's supposed to be you can only fly into the country. But I haven't heard anything about any spillover of militants coming into Ghana. Overall, Ghana has had a very good relationship with its surrounding countries. It's a pretty peaceful nation, so there hasn't been any major issues. Let me go to the next question. Are there any issues or conflicts between different religions, between Christians and Muslims, or are they other religions? There's not any religious conflict in Ghana, actually. There's not religious conflict here. The country has mostly Christian, but there are Muslims as well. I think it's like a 75-25% split, but there's not any conflict between them at all. They live harmoniously, actually. You'll find, like, I'll go to events and they'll start off the event with a prayer. They'll do like a Christian prayer, and then there'll be a Muslim prayer. So I mean, there hasn't been, that I know of, any conflict between religions in Ghana. The only conflict you might have is the speakers of the Christian church is super loud and overpowering, and people might find it a little bit too much with the noise levels. Yeah. Okay, next question is, I'm a Jamaican living in the USA, planning on retiring soon. I have been to Ghana 3 times and loved it. Called it my second home. Oh, wonderful. That's great. You're planning to retire. Make sure you plan very well when it comes to Ghana. One of the things that I usually say to people when it comes to retirement is If you have any pre-existing health conditions, it's very important to make sure that you know that they can be managed in Ghana, because not every serious health condition you'll have access to all the tools needed for treatment, depending on what it is. So it's a good idea to check that if that is something of concern for you. But there's a lot of people who are retiring who are perfectly healthy and have no issues whatsoever. But I just always want to say that to make sure that people are fully aware before they make the decision. Now, the next one is something that I get a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. And so this is, I don't have much money. Are there programs to support financially if I need help, like welfare or social assistance? And my answer to that is, if you don't have a lot of money, don't come, because there is not a social assistance program. There is not welfare. There is not an unemployment system. So someone loses their job, there's no applying for unemployment checks like there would be in America or in Canada or the UK. There is no unemployment checks. You don't have a job, you don't have a job. You have no money coming in unless you take it upon yourself to start a business and be an entrepreneur. There is not a social assistance program. So there is no welfare to say that you're applying for any government support while you are trying to find something else. It doesn't exist here. So it's important that you understand that if you come and you don't have much money, you are going to have a hard time, because you're not going to have any backup to help to support you, especially if you don't have family or close friends already in the country to help you out. You won't survive. It will be difficult. Being poor in America or Canada or whatever is hard, but to be poor in a developing nation that doesn't have a support system to help you survive, like unemployment or social assistance slash welfare, you're going to struggle. And especially if you're coming from an environment where you're used to those things, you're used to having some kind of backup, you're used to those things, yeah, you're not going to be able to make it. So I say, if you don't have it, it's not a good idea for you to say, I'm going to pack my bags and make the move. It also goes to this particular comment that I got, and I promised I would respond to it. So this comment came on one of my videos from someone, and she said, I'm a 30-year-old single Black woman living in Orlando, Florida. I have $3,000 to my name, and I do not want to stay in America. I no longer feel safe. I can understand that. Where can I go after I pay $1,000 for this one-way ticket? Where can I get a job? And where can I get a place to stay? Can you guys make a video on that? Thank you. I'm tired. I don't think I can make another year in America. That is deep and very serious. I can understand, you know, when she says she no longer feels safe, especially when we see all of the things that are happening in America. So what do? Let me put this back on the screen. She has $3,000 to her name. This could be you, could be anybody. You no longer feel safe. You basically have $3,000. If you spend $1,000 on that one-way ticket, you're left with $2,000. You want to come and look for a job. Finding jobs in Ghana is hard. Finding a job in Ghana is hard. I'll say it again. Finding a job in Ghana is hard. That is why a lot of people come and start their own businesses. People come and see opportunity and find ways that they can invest, collaborate, and find ways, whether they're exporting stuff or they're importing stuff, they find ways to make money by being entrepreneurs. If you are coming to look for a job, you are best to look for a job before you even leave the country. Before you even leave the United States, you need to be looking for a job. You find a recruitment company. So for example, LX HR Solutions, they help people find jobs who are coming to Ghana from diaspora. And you need to find work beforehand, because when you find work before coming, you are more likely to be able to negotiate a better salary than if you're already here. If you're already here, your salary will likely be remunerated like a local salary, closer to a local salary than if you are recruited from outside of the country. And When you're recruited from outside of the country, you're more likely to be paid in your foreign currency. So I know people who've been recruited by multinational companies. So they work for companies that have corporate headquarters in Ghana or in other parts of Africa. So for example, if you work for a company like an IBM or Shell or like one of these big multinational companies, if you work in one of their corporate offices that are in an African country, you are more likely to be getting paid in your US dollars because you were recruited while you were still in your home country to move to start the job. And sometimes when you're recruited outside of the country, they even pay for you to make the move and help you with finding a place. But if you move here first and then look for a job, they are not going to help you with that stuff. I shouldn't say they are not. It's very rare that they would help you with that stuff if you are already in the country. Next thing, you have to find a place to live. Unless you have family here, you have $2,000 left after you've spent $1,000 on your plane ticket, and you're left with $2,000 in Ghana. Accra, I should say, which is where a lot of people from diaspora end up coming first, because it's like a safe. I'm not saying that other places are dangerous. When I use the word safe, I'm not talking about in relation to danger. I'm talking about in relation to comfort. It's a comfortable place to make an adjustment to an African country because it is the place that has most access to the things you may be used to. So like the internet is better in Accra. Access to, certain amenities. Like there's people who like to still use the same shampoo that they bought when they were in the States. And there's stores here that will sell American products. So if you're used to something and that's what you want all the time, you will find it more in Accra than if you decide to move to a small community. So if you decide to move to a smaller community, you have to be willing to adjust and know that the smaller communities, you can get a lot cheaper rent. Also, in Ghana, a lot of landlords will ask for a full year's rent up front. 1 full year rent up front. Whereas in Canada and the States, I'll speak about Canada and the States, they only ask you for first and last month's rent. So that's two months in advance. You're able to do 2 months rent and then you figure it out as you go along. Whereas in Ghana, these landlords are asking you for 12 months in advance. Some of them want 24 months in advance. Some even ask for 36 months in advance. So you said you have $3,000. You spent $1,000 on the flight. You have $2,000 left. That's not even enough to cover your rent for the 12 months that they're asking for up front. So my suggestion is always, if you're making a decision to move to Ghana, you should have at least 6 months to a year's money saved before making the move. This is especially the case if you have no family here, no friends here, no real connection with people you can trust to be a support system. You won't be able to do it. You won't be able to do it unless you have your ducks in a row in advance. Like you have a business you're already starting, a job you're already starting. It's tough, and I don't advise doing it. I think that it would be very difficult for you to manage. I feel really terrible, saying this, but I want to give you the reality of the situation. So I know that we see, a lot of us content creators, we're showing you some of the best that's in Ghana, some of the great things about Ghana, and it's wonderful, and it's the truth. There is greatness in Ghana. There's so much opportunity in Ghana, but the reality is, you would be coming and you would need to work. You need to work. Things don't just come easy. A lot of people who come, there's a lot of people who've saved a lot of money before they make the move, or they have friends here and they make the move, or they have a job already and they make the move, or they have a business and they're able to make the move. So consider those things, plan well before you jump ship and come to Ghana. So I hope that that answers your question. Let me get to the comments. Go back to the comments. I have a few that have come through since. I'm a Jamaican living in the USA. Oh, I read this comment already. Sorry about that. I was scrolling through. What do you think about changing the phrase slave castle to enslaved castle or enslaved dungeon? I have recently noticed a lot of African Americans insisting on the right wording, and I get it. I personally don't like the use of the word castle. Sorry, I'm very hot. I gotta wipe my sweat. I personally don't like the use of the word castle. I think that it should be called a dungeon. There was a woman who African American who moved to Ghana. I think she moved in the 80s. Her name's F.A.Q.s. She now lives in Rwanda. She opened up a hotel called One Africa. I actually interviewed her on my channel in a previous episode. She started a petition to have the name changed, to remove castle and have it changed to dungeon. So I completely agree that I think that the word castle just sounds glorified. But I think that the name has stuck because that's what it was called in the beginning. But I mean, I personally see it as a dungeon because that's what it was. It was used as a place to house captured enslaved Africans. So I do think that the wording, and I understand why African Americans and other people of African descent want the name changed. I agree. I actually signed the petition to have the name changed. It didn't happen, but I signed the petition to have the name changed because I think it should be changed personally. Now I gotta put my glasses back on to read the comments. Lisa GTO, can you recommend a company I can use to plan for a visit? Someone to pick up at the airport, show my family around area. You can check with Sunseekers. There's Land Tours. There's Let's Go Ghana. I should put that in the comments, shouldn't I? Sunseekers, Land Tours, Let's Go Ghana. Those are vetted, legitimate travel agents. There's also Miss Taxi. If you look her up, she's also really good. She gives private tours. She's really excellent. So you can, I think it shows up in the comments. So I hope that answers. Ivy, do you have interest in providing tours or cultural experiences for a cost? I am thinking about it. Once I do, I would make an announcement, but I am seriously thinking about it. So thank you for the question. Ivy, what do you think needs to change in Ghana with respect to accepting Africans from the diaspora? I think you have to get into more detail about that. Are you saying that you think that Africans from the diaspora are not being accepted? Please clarify so I can best answer your question. That's from Kaye28. Miss Janice Elaine says there are no jobs to be had. I guess you're talking about when I was saying that there's looking for a job in Ghana is hard. Yeah, looking for a job in Ghana is hard. There's a lot of people here who have been looking for jobs for a long time and can't find them. So it's hard. Unless you have special skills, you have special things, which is why sometimes people from the diaspora end up coming and are able to find jobs when they're searching. Because sometimes these companies are looking for certain qualifications that somebody coming from outside the country may have. They may have like years of experience doing that specific thing that someone here doesn't have. And so they end up hiring the person from outside the country because that person has more experience, especially with the multinational companies who are often looking for certain skills. The other day, I was so surprised. I saw an ad from UNICEF. It was UNICEF. And in the ad, it actually said that they did not want Ghanaians to apply for the job. And I was shocked. I was like, are they even allowed to say that? is that even legal to say that you don't want any Ghanaians to apply for the job? Like, I was shocked. Um, but yeah, finding a job in Ghana is definitely not easy. Okay, so the next comment is, I think as a whole, African Americans need to change our focus. Don't expect to go to Ghana or many other African countries expecting to apply to jobs. Shift your focus and thinking. Thank you for your comment. Um, thank you so much. I'll keep scrolling here. I think, there we go. Need to be able to invest in Ghana and African, bringing our knowledge and skills to help build and develop and create opportunities and jobs on the continent. Thank you for your comment. And then she continues with, unless you have a retirement income in pounds, Canadian money, you'll need to create your own job, a lot of online opportunities, but again, you need money, computers, lights, internet costs, etc. Definitely. So one thing is, there are opportunities now to start business remotely because um, with the pandemic, it's resulted in a lot of companies seeing the value of being able to just work from home. For instance, I know a lot of people from Canada who are in Ghana right now, and they're working remotely for companies in Canada, or some of them are working for companies in the UK, and they're able to live here and sustain a lifestyle in Ghana because they're earning in Canadian dollars. Some people who are consulting for American companies while they're here in Ghana, they're earning US dollars remotely because they're doing the work from home, but they're in Ghana doing their work. And so they're earning US dollars, but they're living in Ghana. The US dollar goes so much further here because of the exchange rate. It fluctuates between like 5.6 to like 5.96 cedis per dollar, per US dollar. So yeah, virtual opportunities are definitely there. And Jose Long talking about the slave dungeons in Cape Coast. Yes, they should be changed to dungeons. Coming to Ghana movement tours is the best. Latasha Stewart Estelle, thank you for your comment. Brandy Jackson says, I'm thinking of moving to Ghana, but I'm hearing there is a constant water issues and lights out. Is that true? Brandy, there are water issues and there are light issues. It is true. I even did a video here on my channel when I had no water. I was criticized by some people saying that because I am promoting Ghana and promoting positivity in Ghana, that I should not have done that video talking about my water situation. I disagree. I think that as much as I love to show the positivity and show that there's great opportunities in Ghana, I also have to show the reality, because I have people who watch my channel looking for information, looking for tips on how they can survive when they come to Ghana as well. And I think one of the important things for people to know is the reality of the situation. You could still be living in one of the best neighborhoods and have issues with your water or have issues with electricity. Now, most recently, they've said that the electricity issue is because they're upgrading the entire grid system. So they've had to turn it off in order to be able to be fixing things. So they've done what's called a load shedding schedule, which they don't follow half the time. I mean, they say there's a schedule, but a lot of people I know, they're like, they don't ever follow the schedule. It just goes off whenever. And so you have to manage, have all your power banks already charged, make sure that you're ready in case something happens. Don't do too many groceries, because the last thing you need is for your fridge to be off for more than a day and your food goes bad because it's super hot. It is super hot, so any food you have can spoil. So it's good to not fill it too much, because you don't want to take a chance if your power goes out that you lose everything in your fridge. So that's a reality that people face. You can combat that by doing things like, if you invest in solar, it is expensive to invest in solar power, but in the long run, it is to your benefit. So investing in solar power if you're able to, or having a generator if you're able to, because generators also cost, because you have to always constantly be refueling the generator. So that's another thing that people do to keep their power going, is have generators. Usually businesses do. So oftentimes when I lose power, if I really need to get something done, I actually go down to one of the local cafes or restaurants, because they have a generator, and I go there and try to do my work as much as I can, if they're open. That's the thing, if they're open. So yeah, and then water. Some areas they said that the pipelines they're fixing and stuff, but sometimes there's not even a pipeline thing, and the water just goes off. So depending on where you are. Also, there are some areas that there is no water even flowing there, so people have the water tanks, and with those water tanks, it's important that you're constantly having it clean because bacteria can build up in those water tanks. So anytime the water is empty, it's good for you to have it clean before you have more water added to it. So that can become costly because you're constantly refilling the water tank. So keep that in mind. And what else? So yeah, the water issue definitely is something to be concerned about. It is something to be concerned about. One moment. I'm seeing some power. The power on my internet is suddenly showing that it's going down, so I just needed to plug it. There we go. All right. So the other thing is with water, you would have to, depending on where you are, a lot of people will store water just in case their water goes off, so they have extra water. But then, you're rationing because even when you have it stored or you have extra water, you're still rationing because you don't know when it's going to come back on. So you want to make sure that you have enough for flushing your toilet, for taking a shower, for cooking your food. So, the time that it happened to me that I did a video, I was doing laundry. So it was like laundry ended up having to be delayed because it was like, well, the priority then became taking a shower and being able to flush the toilet and being able to cook some food. So, but then, yeah, but then I used like bottled water to be cooking my food and stuff like that. So, so yeah, so it is something to be concerned about, but it is manageable if you have the patience. It is more severe in some areas than in others. My area, it's not as severe as it is in some of the other areas that I've heard about, some of my friends. And they said that this is going to be an issue for a couple of months. So we'll see what happens. Because for a long while, it wasn't a huge problem. And then now for the last few weeks, it's been a problem. So it might change in the future. Thank you so much, everybody, for your comments and questions. Upon arrival, do you have a recommended hotel or bed and breakfast? Excuse me. I mean, that all depends on your budget. I usually recommend checking with Airbnb because there actually are some pretty good Airbnbs in Greater Accra. There's a place called Embassy Gardens, which is pretty good. I know a lot of people who stayed there and had a great experience when they stay there. The gallery is close to Accra Mall. And in the beginning, when they first opened, everybody talked about it being a great experience. But most recently, I've had people tell me that they haven't had the best experiences. It's been mixed. Some people have great experiences there, and some people have bad experiences there. So it all, I guess, it all depends. But there's quite a number of places that you can find on Airbnb. Try to think about where you want to be. Like if you want to stay in Accra, and you're trying to do all different types of things, I wouldn't recommend getting a place in. So when you look on Airbnb, a lot of times you'll see these cheap places, but they'll be far. It'll be like in an area called Kaswa is far. Beja is far. McCarthy Hill is far. So like if you end up taking Airbnb in those places, you will be stuck in traffic all the time coming into town to do stuff. I'll say it again. Kaswa, which is Kasoa. Kaswa, Weja, McCarthy Hill, Malum, La Paz, like those sides, you will be stuck in traffic. I'm telling you. I know someone who rented a place on Airbnb and she was livid because when she got here, she said she's spending 2 hours coming into town, 2 hours to go back every day. Can you imagine? So pay attention to where the places are, ask questions just to make sure that It's close to town. So let me see. I'm gonna go back before I go to the comments. I'm gonna go back to um, the questions that I often get. The next question is, I have kids. Are there any activities for them? Now, when it comes to children, I often say that there's not enough activities in Ghana for kids compared to when you're coming from developed nations where there's all kinds of things like amusement parks and different types of stuff for kids to do. Kids are kind of left to do their own thing and figure things out and be creative. Um, for small children, there's a few places. There's these like bouncy castle type park places that you have to pay to take them to. So there's not those free parks. I miss parks. So like today I went for a walk and I was saying to myself, I miss just finding a park to sit down on a bench and just sit. That is not common here, where you go and you find a park and a bench and just sit in the grass and relax. It's one of the things that they really need to work on here is green spaces, particularly in Greater Accra. Green spaces are lacking. So if you're looking for a park to go to with your kids, places like Legon Botanical Gardens, there is a charge. There's an adult charge and a children's charge, and then depending on the activities you choose to do, there's a charge for each of the activities. So it's important that you prepare for that. Um, there is another park called Mofra Place, and it's in the Jolu area of Accra, and it's a park that is really nice, and they do activities for kids to learn educational activities as well. So that place is not too expensive. They are open Monday to Friday. I don't remember if they're open weekends, but that's another place that you can take your kids to. But it's really important to form relationships with people so you can have activities with your kids. So, and then it's who you know, as far as like, as I said, forming relationships and figuring out what's going on. So for instance, recently I was talking to a friend who told me that he found out about this like Friday night basketball thing going on for kids, and he found out through like somebody at the school, parent who talked about it, and then they all kind of get together to do these things. So forming relationships with other parents at the school of your kids. But I don't have children, so I don't spend a lot of time looking at some of the activities that they are doing. So I suggest following the Destination Africa Group TV YouTube channel. They have kids, they move from the UK, and they talk a lot about things they do with their kids in Ghana. Then there's the Achampong family. They sometimes talk about the things they do with their kids in Ghana as well. So I would suggest doing that so that you can figure out what to do with your kids when you come. And then something also to consider if you're moving to Ghana with children is that the cost of educating your children is very expensive if you choose to send them to private schools. So here's the thing, a lot of people who move to Ghana from other countries outside of Africa, they want their children to have the same kind of education as they did abroad. So like someone will move from the US and they want their kids to have the same education as they did in the US, Canada, UK, Australia, Europe, whatever it may be. And with that, they choose to take their kids to a private school that has the same curriculum. So like there's a school called American International School. It's located in East Legon. They have a curriculum that is almost exactly like a US school curriculum. And a lot of people do this because they want their children to go through this foreign curriculum in case their children want to apply. Let's say those kids want to take SATs to go to American universities and colleges. Then they have this education that is training them up to do these SATs in order to get into these schools. So a lot of the people who move from abroad want their kids to have these foreign educations for those purposes, to give their kids access to certain things. And it's very expensive because private schools in Ghana can cost you, and it's costing, they charge in US dollars most of the time, and sometimes in British pounds. So prepare for that. You're paying per term or per semester, depending on the school. Schools can range anywhere from like $2,000 up to like $15,000 per term or per semester. So it's important that you budget for that, especially if you have multiple children, to consider that as an added cost if you plan on having your kids go to these private schools. If you send your kids to the government schools, you won't be faced with that. You'll be faced with other small fees compared to what the international school fees are. So that is something that you should seriously think about if you plan on moving to Ghana with children. I'll go back to the comments. Most of us in the West are trained and educated to be employees. It's a big adjustment to be your own boss. Yes, it is definitely an adjustment to be your own boss. And the system does train people to be employees. And I think that's everywhere, to be honest, not just in the West. Because when you think about it, the school system is training you to be an employee. You have a bell that starts your day. You have a bell that tells you when your break is, recess time in school. Then the bell that tells you to come back to class, your end of your break at work. Then you have a bell that tells you when it's lunchtime, your bell for lunch at work. Then you have a bell to end your recess, to come back to class, go back to work. So you are being trained in school to become an employee. You've already got in your head what time you start, what time's your break, what time's your lunch, what time's your next break, what time do you finish for the day and go home, right? So school is training you to be an employee already. So when you become an employee, it's an easy system that you're just going into because now you're just working instead of doing schoolwork. So it's interesting because everywhere, because even here in Ghana, I meet people every day who are like, I want a job, I'm looking for a job, I'm looking for a job. And some of them have skills that they could do their own thing, but they're looking for a job because they want to work for someone. And it's the safety thing. I'm not going to blame people for it. It's a safety thing because you feel safe that you're going to get a regular paycheck every month, you know? And I can understand that, especially if you are in a situation where you have family and all that stuff. Taking a risk is not easy, and it's not something that people are taught to be risky. So, all right. So let me go back to the comments. I agree with you. You have to let people know the reality. I agree with you. Thank you, Kofi. I think he was talking about me saying that I like to, as much as I like to show the positive, I also like to talk about the reality. Great info and advice. Thank you, Audrey. Gibson says the reality is what we want to hear. AD Ratney says UNICEF most like position advertised was at an international level. This was the reason why it stated no Ghanaians should apply. You must know the reality. If you know about the electricity situation, then you know to get a generator. It allows you to plan. Very true. But generators can be very expensive, especially if someone's salary isn't enough to meet constant refueling. I think that's the major thing, is the constant refueling. And they're very loud. They are loud. Generators are loud. Brandon Jackson, I agree with you. A lot of YouTubers only show glamorous side of Ghana, which is misleading. At the same time, America shows the glamour too. You know, like the America shows the glamour too. So for instance, you don't see a commercial in the United States telling you, by the way, there was, you know, this many hundred shootings that happened last week. They'll just talk about how wonderful the Statue of Liberty is and the Empire State Building, and, you know, come and see the Grand Canyon and come and see the Great Lakes of the Midwest, and the positive. I mean, every country's going to show you the positive to entice people to want to come. America has sold the American dream for a long time. So basically people are selling the African dream now. Yeah, people are selling the African dream now. So I don't blame anyone who chooses to just show the positive. I think that we're working on changing the narrative of Africa. But as I said, I also want you, if you've made a decision to pack your bags and move to Ghana, then I want to make sure that I tell you stuff to expect when you pack your bags to move. If you're just coming on holiday and vacation and you're coming to get lit and have a good time, then sure, the glamorous and the glamorous high roller lifestyle is something that you can enjoy because you're coming on holiday with your dollars and pounds that go further. So it's easier to live that kind of lifestyle when you're here just for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you know, and then you go back to your reality. So yeah. Let me go back to the comments. Lisa GTO says, continue to show the reality of living there. I was not aware of the water issues until yours and other videos. Is the government trying to put in infrastructure, electrical, water, sewer, waste? Yeah, they say they're working on it. That's all I can say because I don't work in those. I mean, I work on contract for a government agency, which is Ghana Tourism. So I work on contract in tourism. I'm not in the other ministries that deal with other issues, but I hear that it's being worked on. But it is quite frustrating because a lot of things are slow to change. So hoping that, and it's hard to change a lot as well, because if you have a situation where the infrastructure has been a challenge for decades, it is hard to do a complete overhaul. So I'm hoping that it does happen. I look at countries like Rwanda and how they've managed to, you know, the ravage that they went through. Is that the right word? What they went through during the 90s, the genocide and everything, and they've just completely turned the country around. It would be great to know how they did some of the things they did. So, yeah. As a former UN employee working in 4 different countries, I cannot apply for a UN local position in Ghana. The position is for Ghana nationals only. Okay, that's interesting. Thank you for that information. Thank you for that information. Viola Cassis says, my husband and I own a restaurant in Osu. We have power outages these days. Yesterday, our water pressure was low. Annoying, but we managed. It shouldn't stop you from coming back to the motherland. Definitely, definitely. It shouldn't stop you. But it will stop some people because I think that not everybody has the patience to deal with some of the things that you have to deal with. What I often say sometimes too is that what it is right now is like, imagine America in 1900, what they were going through at the, you know, their infrastructure and all that kind of stuff. Because there was a time in the States that not everybody had a toilet. Um, and I'm not saying this to justify the situation. I'm just saying that um, that country has had hundreds of years to become what they became. Um, but at the same time, the country was also built off the backs of captured enslaved Africans. That's a whole nother conversation. The UK also benefited from captured enslaved Africans. The banking system was built on the capture and enslaved Africans, but that's a whole other conversation. So a lot of the imbalance between Africa as a whole and other parts of the world has a lot to do with the way that the economic system was designed against them. Economic system was designed against African countries. But as I said, that's a whole other conversation. I lived in Rwanda and Tanzania. I experienced their water and electricity outages. Good that you are informing people about realities of Africa. 75 watching and only 24 likes. Let's hit. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I try my best to give information. I know giving information is not glamorous, so it doesn't always get the most excitement, but I hope that this is informing you and that you're able to share this information. And if you have any questions or comments, please continue to bring them. I'm seeing so many comments and questions coming through. There's so many positives about living in Africa. The water is not a big deal. Yes, manageable. Thank you. Forget to like, just did it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thumbs up for your live. Thank you. I appreciate it. Evangelist Bright TV. Do you have generator for backup? Oh, he's asking Violet about generator for backup. The one who owned the restaurant. Carol says, I'm interested in helping, especially with customer service. I'm getting ready to retire and hoping to go back and forth from Florida to Ghana. What organization can I contact? Excuse me as I dab the sweat. It is super hot. Customer service is definitely something that is needed in Ghana. I think that the hospitality industry could certainly use it. So you want to, so I'm guessing you want to start a business training people, Carol. Is that what you're talking about? Like, in which industry are you looking? Send me an email, Carol. Please send me an email and remind me that you're the person who was talking about customer service. I'll put my email on the screen again. info@ivyprosper.com. So let me go back and put my email on the screen. So Carol, send me an email, please. Send me an email. All right, so I'll go back to the comments. And I just jumped on. Are there many opportunities for those moving from the US to meet others? My son, wife, and 5 young children are moving to Africa. They are leaning towards Nigeria, worried for them. You can always meet people. You want to meet people in the country you're going to, if it's Ghana or if it's Nigeria. A lot of these countries, when there's people who move, they have a lot of expat groups. There's a lot of expat, returnee, diaspora organizations that people connect through. If you're an African American, so you move from the US. If you're coming to Ghana, there's the African American Association of Ghana. You can connect with them, the African American Association of Ghana. They will, I'm going to put this here in the comments, African American Association of Ghana. You can easily even type them in Google and you'll find their website. They're on Instagram. You can send them a message and connect with them, and they can sort you out. The beautiful library showed. Oh, the Library of Africa and the African Diaspora. Oh, it's an amazing library featuring all books from African writers as well as Black writers from around the world. It's a really great place to go. Let's see. This is why I'm concerned about my son and his family. I do not see many US family going to Nigeria. Yeah, Nigeria, I can't speak on. I can't speak on because I know people who have moved families to Ghana and to Sierra Leone, the Gambia, but Nigeria, I don't know people who've moved there with children, just adults. The stream producer says, how is personal and business banking in Ghana for Americans? What are the requirements? Is there online banking and multiple currency accounts? There is online banking. There are multiple currency accounts. Banking, getting a bank account in Ghana can be challenging when you are not a citizen or a resident. So you have to go into the bank and find out exactly what your needs are as far as which banks are easier to open in. So I know that people who are from other countries have had easier times opening bank accounts at places like Stanbic Bank. I said Stanbic Heights because they have a location called Stanbic Heights. So Stanbic Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, ABSA, which used to be Barclays Bank, but they've rebranded in West Africa as ABSA. And my mind is drawing a blank on the other one. But yeah, so yes, there's multiple currency accounts. The fees might be a little bit high, and they ask for a lot of information, a lot of ID and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes they even ask for collateral to open up a bank account, believe it or not, some places when you're not a citizen of the country. So, and this is actually not only exclusive to Ghana. This is just a thing that happens when you're not a citizen of a country. Because when I was a student living in Detroit as a Canadian, there's those kinds of restrictions when you're not an American to open a bank account. So a lot of times Americans will come and think it is something that is like against Americans, but this is something that happens from country to country. Because speaking as person who had been living in Canada as a Canadian citizen and lived in the US as a student, opening up a bank account there was not easy because I wasn't an American citizen. Because they're always asking me for a social security number. It's like, well, I don't have a social security number because I'm not American. I didn't have status to be working and that kind of stuff. So, um, so yeah, banking, it's complicated. So you have to really ask your own specific questions because everybody's case is different, especially if it's a business account. Business accounts also, they look at, depending on the kind of business you're doing, how much money you're opening with the account. Those kinds of things all have to be specifically asked so that you can get the right answers based on your specific needs. Okay. We're gonna provide dual citizenship. Okay, so this goes back earlier in the live stream. Sabine, you may have joined late, but early in the live stream, I was talking about the frequently asked questions that I get asked in the comments on my YouTube videos. And one of the questions is always about citizenship. Can you get citizenship in Ghana? So dual citizenship, Ghana, yes, you can get citizenship in Ghana. Dual citizenship depends on the country you come from. Sabine, I don't want to assume what country you're coming from, but some countries do not allow for dual citizenship. So for example, tennis player Naomi Osaka, she gave up her US citizenship to retain her Japanese citizenship because Japan does not allow dual citizenship. So she had to make a choice. Ghana allows dual citizenship, but if your other country doesn't allow it, then it's not going to happen. So I'm saying this because I don't want to assume which country you're coming from, Sabine. And also for anybody watching, that you should research based on the country you're coming from. Does your country allow dual citizenship in the first place? Because if you go and get citizenship in another country, your country may ask you to relinquish your citizenship. Now, countries like Canada, the US, UK, like these countries don't ask you to relinquish your citizenship to get a second one. But the United States at one point did not allow dual citizenship. But now it's okay for you to get dual citizenship if you are an American. So you can get citizenship in Ghana, but you have to be living in the country. I said earlier, it cannot be done remotely. You have to be living in the country to apply for citizenship. So you have to make the decision. You're coming to Ghana, you're staying here, then you apply. So for instance, I said earlier, there's a gentleman I know who moved here last year. He's been here more than a year now, and now he's looking at applying for his citizenship. So I don't know how quickly it'll happen for him. I'm just know that he's looking at applying for it now that he's been here for over a year. So you have to be here. It's not something you can be outside of the country and say, I want to apply for citizenship. You have to actually be here to do it. I hope that answers your question. All right. I really appreciate everybody giving all these answers. I mean, questions, and then answering some of the questions. I see somebody, Sabine said she's from the US, and someone answered as well to say US does allow dual citizenship. Evangelist Bright TV, they have online banking and I'm comfortable with their services. Get you a passport, birth certificate, have the address, phone number, guarantor who's Ghanaian. Oh yes, the guarantor, that's right. With the bank accounts in Ghana, they often ask for a guarantor. So that's somebody who can guarantee you are who you say you are, all of the things on your application, and they want a Ghanaian citizen to be the one who signs off in support for you. Do says, do you know if my Canadian and US citizenship If I have my Canadian US citizenship, can I add Ghanaian citizenship, or do I have to give one of these up? I know that Canada allows you to have citizenship in 3 countries. I don't know about the US, so you'll have to investigate that. But I know Canada will allow you to have 3 different citizenships. Um, the US, I'm not sure. So please do look into that. I don't want to give you the wrong information. Sabine says, thank you. You are most welcome, Sabine. Thank you so much for your question. I really appreciate it. And so, been online for a while now. It's been an hour and 15 minutes talking about frequently asked questions. I really appreciate everybody who has been on today. Let me see if there's any comments that I had missed. I was talking about earlier about how long it took America to get where they are. And Jose Long says America took 245 years to get where it is today. Ghana has been independent for 64 years. I think it's doing quite well. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your comment. And I'm going to wrap up. I really appreciate everybody who has decided to come onto this live stream. I do have to wrap up soon. Rod says, I'm considering moving to Ghana for a UK citizen. Could you advise on the best route process to gain residency for UK national? I'm looking to visit multiple times to ensure Ghana is for me. You have to do the same process and you have to be living in Ghana to apply for citizenship. Residency. Oh, you said residency. Residency. Yeah, you still have to live here for a bit to get residency. So you have to come and live for a little while to apply for residency. I know some people who've come and, after like 6 months or so, they go to do their application for residency in Ghana. So one of the things about residency is they have a period of time that is supposed to be uninterrupted. So you have to be in the country and then apply for residency. So it's not something that you can be here for like a week and then leave and come back and leave and come back. So the next time you come to Ghana, it's good to make your inquiries. But I definitely know you have to be staying in the country and to apply for your residency. Bobcat Traction says, are you Jamaican descent, Ivy? Well, you can say our Jamaican descent. Our Jamaicans descent of Africa. I was born in Ghana, raised in Canada. I'm not Jamaican, but I do believe that Jamaicans and Ghanaians and Africans in general share DNA ties. So maybe that's what you see in asking that question. So I do get asked that question a lot, especially here in Ghana. A lot of people think I'm Jamaican. They think I'm Jamaican or American. So thank you for your question, Bobcat. So everyone, thank you so much. Evangelist Bright TV mentioned Cal Bank. The person who asked the banking question, Cal Bank is another bank. So for the banking question, let me just type the ones that I talked about. I talked about Stanbic Bank. I talked about Standard Chartered Bank. I mentioned ABSA, which used to be called Barclays Bank. And then now he's mentioned Cal Bank. So there are African banks. Like some people are really interested in supporting African banks. For African banks, there's EcoBank. I'm drawing a complete blank now. There's another bank that is, I think it's UT. Is it UT Bank? There's a bank that is. They have an orange logo. I think it's UT Bank. Anyway, EcoBank, I put that in the comments, is another bank in Ghana that you can look into as a possible place to do banking. We have a comment here. Access Bank is great also. Thank you so much for that comment. So yeah, thank you so much everybody who has tuned in today in this live stream, which was answering your frequently asked questions, because I do get a lot of similar questions on a regular basis. So I just thought it'd be important for me to address. And plus I haven't done a live stream in quite a while. I think it's been like a month since I've done a live stream. So I thought I would do one today. Come on. It's been a while, and I really appreciate all of you for coming on. And I'll go through some of these comments that I may have missed and see what I can do about answering them, maybe in another live talking about answering your frequently asked questions. So I really appreciate it today. Thank you so much. And let me just put this on the screen real quick before I wrap up, because I see somebody was asking about places to live. Zico says best places in Accra: cantonments, East Legon, Jolu, Agbelengpe, Airport, Labone. And then Bobcat Trash says some of the banks in Ghana will not open accounts unless you have a Ghana card and resident permit. Yes, good point. Lisa, great content. Looking forward to another. Thank you so much, Lisa. I really appreciate it. And for some of you who don't know, I did write a book a couple of years ago. I think I need to update, but I wrote a book a couple years ago. Some of the information, a lot of the information is still very relevant. And the book is called Your Essential Guide on Moving to Ghana. And that book I wrote to answer some of the questions, some of the many questions I was always getting from people about moving to Ghana. I answer questions about culture, about job searching. I have information with some job search websites for people who do want to look for work, because I know that I do understand that there are people who want to look for work. So there's job search websites, information about, some shipping companies, and culture, greetings, different slang people use, transportation. So a lot of like basic information that I thought was important to answer, because people ask me all the time. So I put it all in one book. So it's called Your Essential Guide on Moving to Ghana. And I'll put the link in the comments. I appreciate those of you who did buy it already. Thank you so much. I do want to do an update. Thank you for those of you who are suggesting I do an update. I need to find the time, because it's the time. Because writing is, it's time. It's time. So, but I will look at doing an update. I also contributed to a book that's come out called Your A Smart Ghana Guide to Repatriation. The author is Diallo Sombri, and he asked me to be one of the contributors to the book, so I contributed to the book. So, so that's another book that I contributed to. But I need to write one of my own as well. So thank you. And thank you for joining me on this Sunday morning, afternoon, evening, or night, depending on which part of the world you are in. I thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a fabulous evening. Take care.